Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I hold the book?
Yeah.
So, guys, and easy to understand as well. So, yeah. What was your question?
I I asked. So what we're gonna do is uh, make children hate this book now. Yes, Miss. What's your name and story?
Hi, Maddie, and hi, guys.
Hey, what you're reading?
Matilda.
Oh, it's that movie, na? I love that movie. They wrote the book based on the movie.
What are you talking about, man? Don't you know this by Roald Dahl? The book was the first one to come. The movie was inspired by the book. Kanye the Chocolate Factory was written by Roald Dahl.
Okay, good. Cool down. Okay. The book was first, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Hello, buddies. You're watching Medley with Maria. I'm Mary Dawson, and welcome to another episode of Your View on Books. This is episode number 2. You remember we started Your View on Books, a special episode to cover the favorite books from our book club members. We had it in August, I guess. Vasvi spoke about her favorite book, and today, for the second episode, we have a special guest speaker. She's also part of our book club, Your View on Books. So, without any further delay, let's jump into a short introduction about our special guest speaker. Yes, Miss. What's your name and story?
Hi, Maddie, and hi, guys. My name is Afreen, and I am a book lover and aspiring content writer. And thanks for having me here, guys.
Okay, cool. So that is Afreen. Now let's hear about the origin story of Afreen. So Afreen, you are a reader and you are part of our book club. So we want to know from when did you start reading books? When books came into your life? How you discovered your books? How long you've been reading? Are you a regular reader or you read occasionally? And what are your favorite genres? So we want to know everything about reading with respect to you.
Okay. So, my reading journey began when I was about like 7 to 8 years old, and I had my older brother with me. So he got me into this reading habit, or I can say that's reading world. So I remember, like, he used to take me to this library. We were in Coimbatore, so we used to walk to the library and we used to select the favorite books. So I used to take Jackpot and then Digest, those kinds of books for myself. And then I used to come back, and we remember hiding from our parents to read these types of books because they wanted us to study, but we wanted us to read those kinds of books. And then after that, I when I got into the world, I started selecting my own books in school libraries, and then I used to borrow the books and come back and read. And then I remember taking a break from reading because you know uh, college and school studies and everything. And after that, when I remember when I joined this club, I got back into reading, and since then I've been trying to read uh, every month, and I feel like I'm doing a good job at that.
Cool. Yeah, one thing I hear from every book club member is that after they join our book club, they have actually, significantly increased their reading time, and it is applicable for me as well. This year alone, I have read a lot of books. So yeah, being a part of a book, not just our book club, being part of any book club will help you a lot. So yeah, that's one tip for you guys. Now we have some special topics to be discussed in this episode. So the first topic is Afrin. Uh, how important it is for children to read books and to have a reading habit. So, especially we are in a digital age where everyone is in their phone, whether it's restroom or classroom, or even it's like 30-second, 10-second gap, they cannot take their eyes out of their mobile. So, at this digital age, and books have come into the digital technological devices as well. So, how important is for children to read and have a reading habit from the very young age?
I feel like when children read books, this concept of empathy, imagination, and creativity, starts embedding into their minds. And since they are young, and then young people have this very extraordinary type of imagination, because as young and adults we think more out of wisdom. They think out of their small minds, and then they have more creativity and more these types of imagination in themselves. But since they're not reading books and not getting into the habit of reading books, that imagination and creativity gets lost somewhere. And we can talk about empathy as well. So when we read books, we get empathetic with our characters, we learn about them. So that whole concept of being not being selfish, just sitting there and trying to listen to someone, or trying to read about someone else, you're not talking about yourself. So that is very important for children to learn, because in this era everybody wants to talk about themselves, nobody wants to listen, and nobody cares about other people's stories. So if children themselves start reading from a young age, that builds into them. So that is why I believe children should start reading at a very young age.
Yeah, I think from your uh, points, the one takeaway I could take was empathy. So, especially in this beginning era of AI and robots, empathy is what will differentiate the humans from AI. And you kind of underline that for children to develop empathy, books plays a good role, and also reading plays an important role along with imagination. Okay, now it is highly significant for children to develop reading habit and start reading from the very young age. So we have a lot of children's stories and books now, right? So there's so many events as well as books promoting reading for the children's. So now, do you think adults must also read the children books, stories that are made for children? Does that is that applicable for adults as well? And does the adults need to read the children's stories?
Okay. So to answer this, there's you must have heard that there's no age limit to knowledge. You can keep receiving knowledge at any age, right? Same goes with morals as well. So especially with children's book, there are usually most of the children books have some kind of moral. You read a story, you get a moral out of it. And uh, same goes with empathy, as we talked about. So in adults as well, nowadays we have those typical and more dramatic kind of genres, right? There's murder, there's mystery, fantasy, and lots of things which are much more complicated. And when we are in that type of world, we cultivate ourselves and we think that this world is very scary, and then we don't care, we stop caring about other people. So there is this theory called cultivation theory. So when we give up those kinds of books for a small amount of time, and then we go back into reading children's book, we kind of get into that world where we can relate from our childhood memories. And then when we had friends, we had deep conversations with our friends, what are we going through and those kinds of things. We remember our childhood, relate to it, and then try to build ourselves, try to make ourselves better. In nowadays there are so many self-help books and those kinds of books, but children's book is a mixture of everything. You relate with the characters, you create an imagination, you can build up a fantasy around that, and then you can try to make yourself better, even if it's a children's book.
Nice. Uh, yeah, that kind of makes sense. What do you say? Now, let's not make you wait. So when I proposed the idea of a book talk show for our friend, and she was like, "I want to talk about two books," and I had to restrict her enthusiasm. Like, no, let's do only one book, and we picked up a book that's applicable or relatable to both children and adults. So I'll not make her wait. Afreen, you can reveal your book and the author. Wait, wait, wait. Let me give the mic to you. So yeah, it's your time now. Talk about your favorite book.
Okay, so I brought the book. It's Matilda by Roald Dahl. So, first of all, I thought that this was my kind of stigma. When I thought that this is a children's book and this is a Matilda, I thought the author would be a female. But Roald Dahl is a male author. He's British and he has also served in war. And most of his stories came out of his personal life and his personal stories. So that is very inspiring. And most of the stories he tried to relate to his own childhood, and also uh, he wanted to give those stories to his children. Sadly, one of his daughter died, and he wanted to give these stories to his daughter. So I remember this was the first book, Matilda, that I read from Roald Dahl. After finishing this book, I went into Google. I searched like what are the other books that Roald Dahl has written. So there is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Everybody, I think. Charlie and Chocolate Factory. Okay. So BFG. Okay. And then there is I think James and the Giant Peach. So that is his first book, and I was just so impressed by his writing style, and then even the illustrations. So the illustrations are by uh, Quintlin. So yeah, the author is different and the illustrator is different, and it is so relatable. It is very you can understand his writing in a very easy way. Yeah. So that is why I love this book. This was very relatable. The same story goes that I used to walk to the library. Even Matilda used to walk to the library when I think she was 5 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is really very good of you because you explained about the author and his works before you even started talking about the book. Now, let's get into the book. Tell us the story and the main characters about Matilda.
Okay. So, as you know now that the book is about Matilda. So Matilda is a 5-year-old girl, and she has long hair. She's very clean, very tidy or organized. But she is born in a family which is very untidy, very a family which is orthodox or makes rules and likes to live in a box inside television. But Matilda is very different from her parents and from her brother. She wants to get out into the world and read books and want to develop herself. And the story starts in her own house, where the setup is kind of in her family, and the writer tries to show how Matilda is different from her family, and then how she is ignored as a child and her needs are ignored. She wants to read books, but then the parents are saying that no, you act like a normal kid, which is the irony because normal kids are supposed to read. But then she's encouraged to be inside of a television and in that world. But then she kind of rebels. She starts going out on her own, tries to go to libraries and start building her own, we can say, character. And then she is enrolled into a school which is kind of like a boarding school, and there she meets two of the main characters. One is Mrs. Trunchbull, so she is the principal of the school. Okay. And then Miss Daisy, oh, Miss Honey, Miss Honey, she is the teacher. So the teacher kind of sees the potential. Yeah, potential in Matilda, and then that spark in Matilda, that how can be a child be so enigmatic, and then she tries to take her into her own thing and tries to build her up. But there is Mrs. Trunchbull. So what Miss Trunchbull tries to do is give punishments to all the children and tries to put them in different kinds of situations where they are forced to ignore their own creativity and their freedom. And later, can I give spoilers? You can give. Yeah, so later Matilda and Miss Daisy finds that she has telekinetic powers, and later they go into the problems that Miss Honey is facing. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm saying Daisy. So yeah, later they go into the story of Miss Honey. So she's a teacher and she has her own problems, but even if she's living in a world where everything is against her, she just wants good for other children. She wants to see the good in the world and everything. And this kind of inspires Matilda as well. And then she wants to help Miss Honey come out of that particular situation. And she, even though Miss Honey, uh, kind of tells her to not use her telekinetic powers in a wrong way, or in a way where she can cause other people some problems, but then she makes this decision that I want to use these powers to make a change, and through these powers she actually is able to make Miss Honey's life better, much better, and then in a way punish Miss Trunchbull for her acts. And at the end there is a situation put up in front of her where she has to decide, or in a way like a situation which cannot be changed. So Miss Honey kind of helps her, but you have to kind of read the book to know what situation comes in front of her, and as a child what she wants to do and her thing.
Okay. So I haven't watched the. I mean, sorry, I haven't read the book, but I watched the movie. So one question from that perspective: the movie was melodramatic, musical comedy. I would say,
Yeah.
not musical. The background music, I loved it. So I felt like it's a drama comedy. The treatment or narrative that was given in the movie. What about the book? The narrative is dramatic with a tinge of comedy, or it's fully dramatic.
Okay, so great question, because it's a mixture of everything. So there is dark humor, because this is a children's book, right? But then also, as an adult, if you read it, some things are unimaginable, like the punishment that Miss Trunchbull gives to the children. And then there is dark humor. And Roald Dahl, by the way, is, as we know, an amazing writer, but he's also a poet. So there are many poems that I read in other books as well. So when I was reading James and the Giant Peach, the poems were very nice, hooking and easy to understand as well. So yeah, what was your question?
I I asked. The movie is kind of drama and comedy. So it's the same here. In you started off by saying that there's a mix of genres, but which genres dominates in the book?
Uh, as I said, it's a mixture, like humor, drama, and a fantasy kind of area.
Okay, guys, time to take a breeze now. Now, that means fun activities. Take a breeze. So she loves this book, as you can see when she talks about it. So what we're gonna do is uh, make children hate this book now. So assume that you have read this book, but you didn't like the story, you didn't like the characters, and the writing is so poor. You want to tell people like, save your bucks, don't buy this and read this book, and especially children, please don't read, especially don't read this book. Okay, so try your best to. It's a fun game, guys. Don't get offended. Yeah.
Yeah, can I hold the book?
Yeah, yeah.
So, guys, as you can, children, as you can see, this book is pink color. Don't go for it. And then it has a lot of other colors as well. So there's yellow and blue. So, and there's a child as well. And with books, we hate books. So don't go for it, right? And then when we open it, there are a lot of pictures. We hate pictures. I mean, I hated pictures, yeah. I love books which are more kind of like a Bible. So I didn't want to buy it, but I bought it. Waste of money. And then, oh my god, there's a lady which is looking very funny. Hate that. Hate when books are funny.
Any
Uh,
other points?
other points. Oh, there's also a bookmark. That means that I didn't finish this book. So yeah, don't buy this.
Okay, that was very genuine. Like she really hated the book for a minute. But thanks. bookmark. Our club bookmark, old bookmarks. So thank you for taking it sportively and trying to not promote this book. But now I'm leaving it to you. It's your stage now. It's the book that you loved. So please make sure that our viewers, as well as who are might be considering to give a read about this book, make sure they go and purchase it right now and read it. So be as compelling as possible now.
Okay. So, guys, again, I'm gonna say there are a lot of colors in this book. The cover. So we love colors, right? Go buy this book because of the colors. But then, on a serious note, there are a lot of illustrations as well as the writing is very easy to understand. The story is so relatable because if you're a book reader and you started at a young age or whenever, in fact, you can relate to the fact that when you started reading you were just so into books that you wanted to read more and more books from then. And then the illustrations, yes, so the author is different and the illustrator is a different person. The illustrations are so funny and almost on every page. Yeah, so I mean every person I think loves illustrations. So
it gives it kind of gives that Snoopy dog.
yeah. So here we can see that Miss Trunchbull is kind of pulling someone's hair. It's really funny, and then the story is very relatable. Um, and yeah, I want to talk about morals as well. So even if you're a child or an adult, you can take many morals out of this story. So, but to find out and learn and to progress and build your own character, you have to go and buy this book.
Okay. Thank you so much. So she said it's basically if you want to simplify her statement, it's colorful book. So go buy this book. Okay, now talking about the experience about coming on a video talk show. You have not even part of our podcast. You have not done one podcast for us, but directly jumping into video talk shows. How was it? And especially, she was really excited when I asked her like, "Do you want to do audio?" Yeah, I want to do. She was waiting for it. So how was the experience coming to a video talk show and talking about your favorite book?
It was really fun, especially because I got to talk about my favorite book. I mean, one of my favorite books because I couldn't get the chance to talk about the other one. Maybe in another podcast.
Probably in the coming episode we can
Yeah.
talk.
And as I said, like people like to talk, and people love when there are other people there to listen. So that is why, because of that fact, I love being here. I love talking, blabbering about.
Not that. You have done a really good job of promoting this book, and also, sorry, you have done a really good job of promoting this book as well as your, what do you say, your experience and the feeling that you shared was so genuine that I guess any kid who's watching now would be going to pick up Matilda or asking their parents about Matilda. So, today it's applicable for adults as well. So that's why we kind of explore the topic of why it's important for children to read as well as does that apply for children? The stories made for children, does that apply for young adults as well? So yeah, I have watched the movie and I really loved the movie. So definitely I would like to read the book because in book it's always going to be better. The story is always going to be better. The imagination is going to be better. So I am going to give it a try. Thank you so much for coming to our Your View on Books video talk show and promoting this book.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode 2 of Your View on Books. And happy thanks to Afreen now. So I hope you will be returning to the same show.
Yeah, I mean, I still have another book that I want to talk about. Same genre.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so you will catch me in another live stream, video, or podcast. Until then, you're watching Mary with Mary. This is Mary Dawson signing off with
Afreen.
Bye bye.